Yeah, Ericon's video on Thursday, the 10th of February 2022. It's just gone 3:59 p.m. Chicago time. Do hope you are doing well. So that was one heck of a day. Maybe a really important day for directionally what we're going to do in the next several weeks. So I'm going to show you a bunch of charts, some forex charts, some index charts, but I'm going to start off with the 10-year note chart because I put on a trade last night in anticipation of the news about inflation because I had a couple of signals kind of come up on my charts and got taken out on my stop, and that was really nasty to wake up to that. Fairly sizable trade, but sometimes people comment on my videos that I don't talk about losing trades enough. So here we go, going to talk about what my logic was for going long on the 10-year last night and what actually happened. So this is the 3,000 tip bar chart and the 9,000 tip bar chart, kind of used for kind of data swing trading type charts. And you can see that coming into last night, we had a little bit of a triggering kind of going on. We had been oversold on bonds. We had some blue professional bars kind of come in. You can see that here. A bunch of blue professional bars oversold. And we had exhaustion sell and bullish divergence kind of come out. So that to me looked pretty good for a setup to go long. We had a triple signal there at that point, and you can see it where we had that earlier on the 3,000 tip bar chart, triple signal go off. We tested in, all these blue professional bars had kind of come in, and that to me looked really good for a setup at the close of yesterday. And so I put on a trade overnight with a stop kind of down here, just above 126. And because I'm in Hawaii time zone, I wasn't up for the data release, which I think was about 7:30 in the morning with CPI. As soon as the CPI kind of came out, bang, this thing just dropped through the floor because we ran a lot hotter on CPI than people were expecting. So I don't think logically it wasn't a bad trade. It had the makings of potential reversal, but when the actual news hit, you can see I was just kind of incorrectly positioned and woke up to a nasty loss on that. So spent the rest of the day trading the E-mini only and trying to make up as much as that loss as I could. Only made up about half of it, so not a bad day overall for trading, but that was just a trade that didn't kind of work out. And I think when the news changes, it's like, the signals can just be wrong. And potentially with the Bullard Fed announcement today, potentially the news has changed. Just show you on the daily charts as well what we were seeing on the 10-year. We've been in a downtrend for a while on the 10-year. Had our triple signal back at the beginning of last year, and this thing, we cruised back up into resistance, kind of came back around, and the last time we had a whole bunch of blue professional bars was into this high at 31, and that was a classic kind of stair-step trade. Kind of backed into that, the pro stop kind of trailed down, we just bounced against it and then came back down. So what I was seeing again last night was exhaustion sell, kind of bullish divergence kind of come in. We hadn't had on the daily chart any blue professional bars kind of come in here, but what I was hoping was that we might get a blue professional bar on the way up, kind of getting out of this exhaustion sell bullish divergence pattern and kind of take off to the upside. Don't often trade the 10-year, but this was a beautiful little kind of signal, not unlike the Japanese yen. We've had similar kind of stair-step trades on the Japanese yen on the daily charts, and they've been kind of really good for continuation of this downside. So there we go, a losing trade. But let us talk about today's activity, and we have just had what I call a last roll of the dice pattern go off on the 15-minute chart. So last video I did a couple of days ago said all the supports were in and we're going to have a nice little bounce to the upside, which we definitely got. You had to be in on that trade, and I put out the video pretty late, like 10 p.m. or something, kind of Chicago time. So you had to be into that trade at around this kind of 20 level in the overnight to kind of take advantage, and it ran to 82. So I think it ran for about 60, 70 points maybe to the upside. But that was when all the supports kind of in, and we ran into trouble here with resistance on the 15-minute chart. But this little pattern called a last roll of the dice. So you can see as we bounced into that 4,600 level, up here we had RAMBO patterns, so being driven by the amateurs. And then we today have some kind of bad news at the beginning of the day. We kind of sell off and we come back to test those highs, close the gap, blue professional bars kind of come in. So this is last roll of the dice. So at this point here, the professionals are looking at that saying that's suspect, it's RAMBO patterns, 4600 round number, that's not going to go anywhere. So what we're going to do, we're going to back it into that level, get everybody excited, and then get out. That's our last opportunity to get out at that point, at that high, before it kind of reverses and goes the other way. And then the Bullard news came in. I don't know whether it was kind of around this bar or this bar, but anyway, we kind of closed on the lows for today. But that was last roll of the dice. It's the last opportunity for the professionals to get out, kind of get short, and potentially, we've now put in that resistance on the daily chart. It's not, again, talked about this 2 days ago on the videos, saying that the next place we were going to have trouble was when we have resistance on the daily chart kind of come in, because we found this support, this pullback in an uptrend kind of support on the S&P 500, and we're kind of playing this out, pullback to end of trend. But next time we're going to have trouble is when the resistance comes in on the daily chart here, and that's what printed today. You can see that there, SR1 4590 kind of goes off, and we got across here. It has not happened on all of the indices. It's happened on the index of the S&P 500. It's happened on the NASDAQ ETF, the triple Qs kind of here, or they quadruple Qs here, I never know. Pullback in a downtrend kind of gone off, so that's really important. So we've got to maybe go pullback end of trend on the NASDAQ and then run into support on the highest time frame here. And then the third chart where it's gone off is the Dow Index. Again, you can see that there, that little resistance kind of just been printed there, SR1 on the Dow. So it's not all of the indices, all of the kind of the ETFs, the futures and the index kind of gone off. It's just a smattering of them, but they'll all kind of wrap around. If this is a strong move, they're all going to signal that over the next day or two. So I think that's a really important kind of signal with today. So and then just a whole bunch of daily charts, all these breakouts just stopped dead, reversed and went the other way. So let me just show you that on a range of these different kind of daily charts. We were breaking up really nicely on the Euro chart, and it just stopped, I think, with that news and just came back and had a good think about it. So that was the Euro chart. Aussie chart as well. The Aussie chart was starting to break out to the highs and then came all the way back. We also had Canadian dollar kind of start to break out, come all the way back, and British pound start to break out higher the day and then come all the way back. So that's kind of interesting. What other charts? It seemed to happen on some of the kind of commodities as well. Gold, I was never into this gold breakout anyway, but it seemed to continue back to try that breakout, get a little bit higher over yesterday's highs, and then kind of came back today. Silver again, I didn't see any reason why we were having strength in gold and silver on the charts. I mean, I can understand the argument economically why we might have that, but kind of tried to break out 24 and then came all the way back. And interestingly, on the commodities as well, they've all kind of backed off their highs. So here's soybeans, reached a high above 1600. Blue professional bars came to close almost on the lows there. What else can I show you? Corn, do we have the same kind of thing on corn? Yep, same thing. Kind of corn reached highs, came back, probably on wheat as well. Yep, tried to break 800, kind of came back down. Lean hogs, same thing, kind of started that breakout and then kind of came back down. So as you can see, we had today, we were having breakouts happening in the morning, in the early session, and then as soon as that kind of news kind of came out, all of a sudden we kind of backed off. So potentially a really important day. Can I see it on anything kind of setting up with the Forex charts? Going to show you the Euro. This is the 4500 tip bar chart. We bounced blue professional bars into the signal here, and at 15 we've had blue professional bars kind of come in here. So not looking convincing on the Euro chart. On the daily chart of the Euro, yep, we're kind of trying to break out, but we've had signals. But with today's activity, I mean, do you call that a long-legged doji pattern? Kind of close to it. You know, a little bit of uncertainty there kind of going on the euro chart. Japanese yen kind of potentially setting up to the upside. So on the 900 tick bar chart, Japanese yen exhaustion, sell bullish divergence, blue professional bars oversold. So we get a triple as soon as that all kind of comes together, and we're just settling down here, potentially, you know, above this kind of breakout level. The Japanese yen could take off to the upside. On the 2700 tick bar chart, though, we don't have a lot of confirmation. We've just got oversold at that level. On the daily chart, I don't know, 460-minute chart, not particularly yet. So the Japanese yen potentially kind of setting up for a long trade. So that could be weakness in equities. Carry trade kind of reverses. The Japanese yen starts to strengthen. Now, I don't like looking at the dollar index futures market because it is really thinly traded. When we go down here on tip bar charts, you have to go down to a 300 and 900 tip bar chart in the dollar index. So I don't particularly like it because it's doesn't have enough kind of throughput. You're much better off looking at the euro and the Japanese yen that have, you know, multiples of more kind of volume going on. But you know, what's interesting here is this was the breakout level at the beginning of the year for dollar index, took off to the upside, and that's when we had the weakness in equities and the first kind of push. We did not really kind of take profits up here at 97. No blue professional bars up there. It was a little bit of a flush pattern, but it was playing off that breakout. And what we've done is we've come back into 95.4 blue professional bars. That breakout kind of area becomes support again. So we've got blue professional bars kind of come in here, come in here. So on the 900 tip bar chart, we've got some interest kind of coming in from the professionals. And if you look at the daily chart of the dollar index, so we've had strengthened dollar index for over a year. That kind of signaled back at the beginning of 21. Blue professional bars, whole bunch of them getting in, and we've not seen any blue professional bars on the dollar index. So at these peaks here, no taking of profits by the professionals. We've come back in to this kind of 95 level, and so technically we're still in an uptrend on the dollar index. So are we going to see tomorrow, the next day, a reversal of all of these kind of breakouts? All of a sudden we found some strength in, you know, all the currencies, and another kind of false breakout. We've had one before on the euro at the beginning of the year, just didn't go anywhere. And so potentially with today's news, we could just reverse and kind of go the other way. So really important day today. Can't really suggest directionally what we're going to do, but it doesn't look good because we've got to play out at least on the 15-minute chart resistance to support on the way down, and we've got to go see a pullback to end of trend on the lowest, on the 15-minute lowest time frame here, kind of on the way down. So we're definitely weak at the moment. So let's see whether this holds somewhere between now and 44.50, which I said was going to be a kind of a critical level on the way down. And I think if we could kind of break that, then we're just going to continue to test into the lows there. So interesting, rethinking a lot of things. I'm flat at the moment, kind of thinking what I'm going to be doing over the next day or two, but that was an important day, I think. So let's see what happens tomorrow, Friday.